Thank you very much, Chairwoman DeGette, and thank you for holding this important hearing today. And I want to thank our witnesses for their presence and presentation. Today's hearing marks the first opportunity for this subcommittee to discuss the rapid utilization of cryptocurrencies and the environmental impacts associated with their use. With roughly 300 million people using cryptocurrency around the world, over 6,000 different digital assets, and greater adoption and utilization by companies willing to accept crypto as payment for products and services, it's impossible to ignore the growth of this industry in recent years. Cryptocurrencies have the capacity to support unbanked citizens in countries with weak or corrupt financial institutions, and the decentralized nature of blockchain has the ability to empower individual investors in every corner of the planet. But with this rapid growth comes questions about the sustainability of this industry and the underlying energy consumption needed to keep currencies operating, to validate transactions, and to keep blockchains running. This too cannot be ignored. Well, we know there's some bad actors in this space that utilize carbon intensive mining efforts. There are industry leaders who are focused and committed to reducing carbon emissions. This industry has matured rapidly over the last 10 years, and what started as people mining Bitcoin in their home computers has grown into the types of companies represented here today. Some mining companies are even publicly traded on Wall Street and are announcing major capital investment projects across the country. Despite this, the industry is still new to many Americans. Mr. Brooks, you have spent time at a cryptocurrency exchange. You're now CEO of a blockchain service company. This gives you a broader lens on the industry. What are some of the innovations you see in this space that might have applications out of Bitcoin mining?
Well, thank you very much, Congresswoman. I really appreciate that question. What I would tell you is when I first encountered the crypto industry about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more than 5 years ago, I think many people believed that the point of crypto was for asset speculation. Maybe it was even for money laundering, but they thought it was a solution in search of a problem. And I think 5 years later, people have figured out that decentralization is what crypto is all about. And Bitcoin, of course, was the original and most decentralized of all of the blockchains. What I mean by that is it's not just about replacing forms of money and financial transactions. What it's about is replacing the concept of networks generally. And that's why we now have distributed companies competing with Amazon and Microsoft for cloud computing. It's why we have distributed companies competing with Google as a way of accessing search out there. There are now real companies with billions and billions of dollars of market cap built on top of these things. But at the end of the day, what it's about is a set of decentralized technologies, starting with Bitcoin, that allow people to borrow and lend without the bank credit officer potentially telling them no, but allowing an algorithm to allocate credit. It's allowing people to find information without Twitter or Google deciding which information you should be allowed to read. It's about a series of things that we do every day without the intermediary of a bank CEO, a big tech CEO, or somebody else deciding for you. That's ultimately why crypto has achieved the market cap that it has, because decentralized systems are safer, they're fairer, they're more secure, and ultimately more valuable than a centralized set of internet applications.
So now in June of last year, China banned all cryptocurrency transactions and mining. And since then, the United States has seen its global share of cryptocurrency mining grow substantially. Mr. Belizaire, in your view, what has drawn mining companies to the United States following the ban in China? And when you're deciding where to site a new crypto mining facility, what is it you're looking for?
Thanks for the question, Congresswoman. The China, the Great China Unplugging, as it's been called, has certainly seen a large increase of participants joining the U.S. market. And when they land here, they're looking for a few things. Number one is obviously cheap energy. Their entire ethos has shifted from sort of cheap wherever they can get it to more green. So that's very encouraging. They also look for opportunities to build very large scaled operations. And so local markets for talent, resources, access to economic development support, those sort of things are part of their criteria. And the other thing they look to participate is in the general ecosystem of the marketplace, everything from support services, insurance, business operations, technology, people, finance. And so what's exciting is the fact that the industry is moving here is going to drive more maturity, because here we have rule of law, we have infrastructure, things that really drive businesses to operate properly. And for me, that's quite exciting, because that means that the entire industry will mature into a global infrastructure platform to support some of the opportunities that Mr. Brooks mentioned earlier.
Well, thank you, and my time is up. I'll yield back to the chair.